Hey there, everyone, and welcome back to this little tidbit of special extra coverage from Origins 2018. Hey, I'm here with Adam from Tabletop Minions YouTube channel, and we met at the Gamma trade show in March.
In Reno.
Yeah, in Reno, yep. And we talked about your GameFor app. I actually interviewed you for the Dice Tower coverage for that. And so I've kind of been keeping an eye on how it's progressing, and we've kept in touch a little bit.
Yeah.
I wanted to check in with you about how it's going and where it's going to go from here.
So GameFor is an app that is designed for allowing gamers to be able to find events, stores, groups, other gamers, that kind of stuff in their area. It's for Android, it's for iOS, it's a free app to download. Honestly, when you download it, you don't even have to log in. You can go down to the bottom underneath the login and click look around as guest.
Okay.
And then you can find out what's going on in your local area. You can find out what's going on at stores, groups, all kinds of stuff. If you want to start your own group or start your own event or go to events and things like that, you need to do a sign up for it, which is also free. We're very cognizant of privacy and safety and things like that. The safety thing is a big deal to us, so pretty much most of the events you're going to find in the app are all at game stores because they are a public place, you know what I mean? And it's a well-known public place, and it's in our database. We have a database of stores worldwide in our store finder that's over 6,200 stores worldwide.
Already?
Yeah, already. So any place you go, if you're traveling, you can just pull out the phone and then look to see what the closest store is. We've been using it, we've been showing people here at the show all week, and as it turns out, there's a game store in the building. If you go out, it's a comic store mostly, but they also have games as well, but it's actually in the building. Because it kept coming up saying it's less than a mile away. I'm like, oh, it must be nearby. And then as I was walking to my hotel, I walked by it in the kind of by the food court. So anyway, yeah, it's been going really well though. We launched it, like I said, we launched it just before Christmas, but we really started kind of pushing it and talking about it at the Gamma trade show in Reno, which was in mid-March. A lot of people have joined the app in the last 2 days. So we went from about 2,700 people signed up to 5,000 since Monday morning. Like at that time, I think we had 2,000-ish maybe people signed up. Currently, we're almost over 20,000.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. We haven't hit 6 months yet since we initially launched. And so, we're right around 20,000 people signed up in the app. And we've got 800 different groups signed up in the app, and stores that get verified can put their events in and all that kind of stuff, and that's free as well. And we've got over 300 stores verified as well. Stores have been reaching out to us. Big stores like Gigabytes Cafe down in Atlanta, that's like a huge 9,000-foot store. They were like one of the first ones as soon as we opened it up. They got out to us. So it's been going well that way.
That's one thing I wanted to ask you about because an app like this lives or dies by its user base and its support.
Absolutely.
And to be honest, every single year at Gen Con or Origins or something, someone comes up with a flyer about the next kind of gaming app. So what is it about the GameFor really that sets it apart from the others that we've seen try this out every year?
Well, a couple different things. From a very pragmatic standpoint, it comes from the fact that this is our day job. This is me and the 5 other guys that work for the company that made it. We make apps for a living. We make apps for insurance companies and manufacturers and business-to-business stuff like that. And we've been doing it for years. So we've got the technical know-how. We have the resources and all that kind of stuff to build these things. We've been building all this kind of stuff for big companies for a long time. But the 6 of us are all tabletop gamers too. So we've got a couple of role players, a couple of board gamers. Me and another guy are more into wargaming. We've got everyone's kind of touched CCGs at some point in their career. And so we knew it was something that was necessary. We knew that there was something out there that was needed for this kind of thing. And the thing is, we did look at a bunch of the other ones that have come in the past, and we did a lot of research before we started any programming.
Okay.
And what we figured out was that where a lot of them stumble is they've got the idea, but they don't know how to do it. They don't have the technical know-how, so they're going to do a Kickstarter, raise a bunch of money, and then hire some programmers.
I've seen that very thing.
We didn't do any of that stuff because we were already the programmers and I'm the designer. So we had that going for us. Secondly, many of these apps also were designed to basically say, hey, look, you've downloaded the app, you've put in your profile, here's a bunch of gamers who live near you, make some friends.
Right.
And that doesn't necessarily work sometimes because we're generally kind of a bit of an introverted bunch.
Yes.
So instead, what we're telling people is like, look, here's a bunch of events for games that you're interested around you. You can filter the events and you can say, I only want to see CCGs, or I only want to see RPGs and board games, or whatever you want to do, and we'll only show you those types of events. And you can look at it and say, okay, cool, I want to go play that at that event. And then it doesn't have this sort of kind of anxiety to some degree of just saying, reaching out to new people and making friends. You're going there because of the event, and then you'll also meet some people at the event.
Yeah, finding something that fits your interests helps to increase your comfort zone.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I totally understand that.
Yeah. So because of that, and because of the fact that we've been reaching out to stores and getting them very involved, has been really kind of, I think, part of the key to the success, talking to people. So the actual know how to do it, the way that we're doing it, where we're making it more event-based and group-based and not just, hey, find some friends. We don't want to make it Tinder for gamers, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then also just the marketing know-how and all that kind of stuff is really, I think, what's put us out there.
Okay, well, let's flip that around.
Yeah, absolutely.
The other thing I wanted to talk about is, okay, so that's how it compares to the other kind of startups.
Sure.
But how about comparing to the established ones? Like, the first thing that comes to mind, of course, is Meetup.
Sure, yep.
Because that is also for events,
Yep.
and that's established. So what's your take on that?
Well, so meetups, I mean, at the very base level, there's two main things with meetups that our group section kind of gets around, or kind of, I think, puts us ahead of to some degree. One is that we're very, very game centric.
Yeah.
Like that's what we're doing. When you're looking at meetups, it's very, you have to kind of basically wade through all of the kayakers who also like to bike ride at the same time, kind of thing, and all that sort of stuff, and go through all that until you can hopefully find a gaming group, in your local area. So that's for us pretty important. One of the big benefits also is the fact that if you want to become a subscriber group, we're about a third the price. So they're like $15 a month roughly, and we're $5.
Hey there! At this point in the interview, you're going to start hearing Adam here refer to two different account plans for GameFor. A free one, and another one that's a $5 a month subscription, which unlocks more options and tools for the user. Well, guess what? Based partially on the positive feedback that Adam and the other GameFor developers received at Origins, shortly after our interview, they announced that they're going to be making a change, and they're going to make all of the features from the monthly paid option also available to everyone else for free. And while this is good news for GameFor and its users, it's slightly more difficult news for the people who recorded and edited the interview. But that's not what's important here. What's important is that this means that all users are going to be able to make groups with more than 10 members, create repeating events, publish their public events in the main game events listing, and submit custom verified locations, all with no fuss, no muss, and no monthly fee anymore. So that's a pretty big change. And since it happened right after our interview, for the rest of this video, keep in mind that all of the paid subscription features that Adam's about to discuss, they're all free now. So, all right, and let's get back to the interview.
You can post public events and private events. The private events, you can use any address you want. So if you're having an event that's just for people who are in the group, you can say, cool, here's this event. We're going to have game night at my place and then have a cookout or whatever. And only people who are in your group can see it. So it can be a totally, any address you want.
Right, okay.
But for public events, because we're very concerned about safety, it's all about, it's either going to have to be at a game store, because we know those game stores, we've got a list of 6,200 game stores, and we know they're public places, or if you're a subscriber group, you can get verified custom public locations. So what happens is you go into the app, and if you're a subscriber group, and you can say, okay, so we meet at the Applebee's, or we meet at the library, or at the church basement, or anything like that. And if it's a public place, you fill out that information in the form, we get it, we go into Google and make sure, yes, it is actually a public place, and then we verify it. And now your group, when you're making an event, you can either choose to have it at a game store or at one of your custom locations. And then that way, you can have events that are basically at any public location, and the big benefit is then as a subscriber group, those public events end up in the normal games list. So if you're trying to get more people into your group, you can totally do that, and you can have people coming to your stuff because they'll see it when they go through the normal game events in their area to see stuff that stores post, stuff that people post, and also stuff that subscriber groups post.
Nice. Where's it going to go from here?
So we've been having a lot of people asking us about a bunch of different features. One is people who run either small conventions or tournaments, like they would want to know, like, how can we get in there? And we've been talking actually to a lot of publishers who've been coming to us and saying, look, we want to advertise in this. If you're a publisher and you're trying to run play tests in a certain area, you'll be able to make it so your ads only show up in a certain area. If you're a publisher and you make a game that's a war game, you don't want that to show up to a person who's got war games turned off in their filter. You only want to advertise the people who want to see war game stuff or board game or whatever. So we're going to be adding that kind of stuff in. So that's going to be very useful for anyone from big publishers all the way down to indie developers and Kickstarters and things like that. So yeah, we want to do that kind of directed stuff. We're also looking at, people have been reaching out to us about tournaments, specifically in like Magic and like wargaming. You see tournament people who are like, I would like to be able to put tournaments in there and that kind of stuff. And so we're looking at doing some of that. We've got other features as well. We're going to start localizing to different languages. So the first ones are probably going to be German, I want to say Spanish, I think Polish, because we've been getting a lot of people from Poland. So that's been really cool too. So yeah, we've got a bunch of different options and things. We've got a definite, we've got a definite roadmap going forward. Absolutely.
Excellent. Cool. Well, I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
Because like I said, seeing these come by every year, I actually feel like there's a lot of potential here because of the expertise that you bring to it, and also the audience that you have from your own YouTube channel, and understanding and relationship with this industry and everything.
Yeah.
So I think that has I think it's off to a great start.
Cool.
And I look forward to talking to you again real soon.
Cool.
Thanks. And in the meantime, keep watching for more incredibly excellently produced coverage from Origins 2018. I'll talk to you again soon. I actually interviewed you for the Dice Tower coverage for that, and so I've kind of been keeping an eye on how it's progressing, and we've kept in touch a little bit.
Yeah.
And we just both happen to be at Gamma.
It's true.
And thought it would be a perfect opportunity.
The Origins show.
Yeah. Oh, wherever we are today.
You've been very busy. I mean, we've both been very busy, but you've been very busy.
Yeah. And I think this is the first time I've sat down in 3 days.